A deadly plane crash involving the U.S. military in the Philippines.
And last week's aviation tragedy in Washington may lead to a review of the air traffic control system. Anthony Antoine in the studio with a breakdown.
Yeah, Caroline and Rashi, 4 people are dead after a plane crashed in the Philippines here today. 1 U.S. service member and 3 defense contractors were on board. The plane was conducting a routine surveillance mission, according to the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. And U.S. forces have been in the southern portion of the country for decades now, providing advice and training to Filipino forces battling Muslim militants. The cause of the crash still under investigation. And after last week's tragic plane collision that took 67 lives, attention is turning to our country's air traffic control systems. The crash happened just a few days after the system used to send pilots safety alerts went down. Both President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance say the equipment is outdated, and Elon Musk has now volunteered to, quote, make rapid safety upgrades to the system. But Democrats push back on that idea.
It's a clear conflict of interest, and Secretary Duffy should make sure that Mr. Musk is not part of the FAA air transportation system. He has been fined for violations.
And the NTSB is continuing to investigate what caused the crash and say it will issue a preliminary report within 3 weeks. Rashi?
I want you to take a good look at your screen. As you can see, an active investigation underway. Emergency personnel at the scene. You see cranes. We are getting preliminary information about this tragedy from our content partners at the Associated Press. They say a small aircraft crashed on an avenue in Sao Paulo on Friday morning, killing at least 2 of its passengers. The local firefighter corps releasing this information to AP. They go on to say the plane went down in the Barra Funda neighborhood on the city's west side near its downtown. A piece of the plane hit a bus, injuring 1 woman inside, while a motorcyclist was hit by another piece of the wreckage. The firefighters releasing that information as well. We are told both of those people who were hit by debris are receiving medical care at this time. A later statement says that 4 additional victims at the site were taken to hospitals in the region with minor injuries. You can see on your screen the plane's just wreckage in real time. We also know that the bus caught on fire. You can see some of the ash there on the roadway. Firefighters have since extinguished that blaze. The plane was bound to Porto Alegre in the southern Rio Grande do Sul state. So we continue to discuss these plane crashes in real time. This newest one coming in from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Tragic news, a small aircraft crashing on an avenue in Sao Paulo this Friday morning, killing at least 2 of its passengers. It is an ongoing investigation. We do know that as that crash happened, that bus caught on fire. You can now see photographers zooming out to give you more of a wide-scale view. Good morning, and thank you so much for waking up with us here on Live Now from Fox. We made it to Friday. It's February 7th. I'm Jeanette Francine. As we come on the air, we are following breaking news headlines. It does take us out to Alaska. I want you to take a good look at your screen. On this Friday morning, the Associated Press reporting an aircraft carrying 10 people across Alaska's Norton Sound south of the Arctic Circle went missing Thursday afternoon, and rescuers, they continue to search into the night and into this morning for any sign of the aircraft. The Bering Air Caravan was heading to Nome with 9 passengers and a pilot, according to Alaska's Department of Public Safety. Authorities were working to determine its last known coordinates. The disappearance marks the 3rd major incident in U.S. aviation in just 8 days. A commercial jetliner and an Army helicopter colliding near the nation's capital on January 29th, killing 67 people. A medical transportation plane crashing in Philadelphia on January 31st, killing the 6 people on board and another person on the ground. What we know at this time is the Cessna Caravan left around 2:37 p.m. Officials lost contact with it less than an hour later. This coming from David Olson, the Director of Operations for Bering Air. He also goes on to share that the aircraft was 12 miles offshore, sharing that with the U.S. Coast Guard. Bering Air serves 32 villages in western Alaska. Most destinations receive twice daily scheduled flights, Monday through Saturday. Airplanes are often the only option for travel of any distance in rural Alaska, particularly during the winter months. The Nome Volunteer Fire Department saying in a statement early on this Friday morning in real time. I want to share that with you. Take a good look at your screen. They say, quote, "We do not have any updated information on the location of the missing aircraft. Crews are still searching on the ground, canvassing as much area as possible." They go on to say the National Guard C-130 reported they found nothing so far. The Air Force also sent a C-130 resuming the search and also have reported no visuals. They do have 1 hour of flight search time remaining. If nothing further is reported, the next update will be at 9 a.m. So we're hoping to get that update on this Friday morning at 9 a.m. And of course, when that happens, we'll share it with you here on Live Now from Fox. But tragic news to share with you on this Friday morning. The search underway. It does continue in western Alaska for a plane carrying 10 people.